recently made a video where I showed you a phone that has almost everything you need, meaning if you were to quantify the basics of what most consumers ask for a phone, some devices do a good job at nailing the basics. Thing is, even if they do, that usually comes at the expense of looks and the guarantee that you're buying into future-proof hardware and software. Now, don't think that I ended that video with a question just for the fun of it. I know that if you're looking for a budget phone, that's because you actually want to find something affordable. But what if I told you that there's something in between? A product that's either as or more powerful than the flagship phones out there and priced in a way that'll make you debate if you really want to buy a midranger. A device that jumps from just fulfilling needs to being a product that you actually want. I think this is it. This is the OnePlus 7 Pro, what the company dubs as its way to go beyond speed and what we know as a flagship killer. But the question is if it's really worth the extra $270 when compared to the disruptive Pixel 3a. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is our full review. I have yet to meet a person that's willing to decline the opportunity to pay less for more. It's quite common sense, but the thing about it is, in society, when it comes to product consumption, the effect is rather interesting where people assume that something that's affordable is cheap, and that's not always the case. I know a lot of companies spend much money on marketing and distribution, where OnePlus has a different approach, where they actually don't spend that much on this and actually use that money for something that you'll actually consume. Let me begin this video by telling you what I like about the OnePlus 7 Pro, and it starts with the hardware. The OnePlus 7 Pro is not a cheap phone. You can tell the moment you hold it for the first time, and as of this generation, it's actually also a visual thing. The design of previous generations was not bad, but I'm more of a fan of the color options and the curves of this generation. Side by side, it's even hard to tell that the 6T and the 7 Pro came from the same company. Now, there are some clear design inspirations from other companies. I mean, the bottom looks a lot like the Mate 20 Pro, and the curves are all Samsung Galaxy, and we kind of get a hint of where this almond color option was inspired from. Still, I don't care. This is my favorite color, and matched with the minimalistic sandstone case, I'm good. This is all I want. The second thing I like is how much the company has invested in the wow factor that consumers actually care about. This is seriously one of the best displays on a smartphone. At 6.67 inches, it is one of the largest you'll find in its category, and this Quad HD Plus AMOLED panel is not just vibrant and gorgeous, but also hard to find in competing devices. See, it's one of only 2 devices that supports 90Hz refresh rates, so navigation and interaction feels more fluid. Though yeah, that's the reason for some of the flicker you'll see from the camera. One of the coolest things is the display is nearly border to border at almost 90% screen to body ratio, and there are no notches, no punch holes, just all screen. To get rid of the interruptions, there's wow factor number 2 because there is a selfie camera, but it's tucked in and it's only available whenever you need it, which is really convenient for privacy. I've seen people using selfie camera covers. We will come back in a bit to how the camera performs, but right now what's important is just how fond I've become to consuming content without interruptions. See, 18:9 video is a true pain when notches come in the way, and now that OnePlus has finally taken the plunge to dual firing speakers, it's going to be really hard for me to go back to using any other phone. 6.4 inches on the Galaxy with the on-display fingerprint scanner that was good on the 6T has now gone to great with a larger surface area and faster response times. And then there's wow factor number 3 in what you get for what you pay for. Prices range between $669 and $750, and for this you get the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 855, options between 6, 8, or 12 gigs of RAM, 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 3 storage, which is the fastest in the market, and you have dual SIM options if you go for the unlocked variant. There's also a 4,000 mAh battery, and in the box you get a Warp Charge 30 adapter that'll take your phone from 0 to 50% in around less than 20 minutes. Now, having a really good sports car is not just about its engine, it's also about all the efficiencies in the materials, and in the case of smartphones, it's all about the software, and Oxygen OS continues to be my favorite option. I've been reviewing OnePlus devices since the 3T, and if you're looking for a phone that's fast, minimalistic, and ages well, this is it. I can glide through menus all day and show you how fluid it is, but really what I like the most is its flexibility. If you like the softer buttons or the pixel pill or gestures for navigation, it's all an option. You want light or dark mode without having to wait for Android Q? It's here. Heck, if you want to try Android Q Beta, this phone supports it and is ready for it. If you want to lock applications with your fingerprint or hide applications in a separate drawer, you can also do that. My personal favorite is reading mode to turn the screen black and white for when I'm on the go reading a book, but there are options like gaming mode that's self-explanatory, and then Zen mode in case you want to force yourself to not be bothered. You can even stack your widgets on the left shelf if you want a cleaner home screen, though I would have preferred the Google Feed, which is what you get in the case of the T-Mobile variant. Now, software also plays a major role in battery life, and even with this phone having features like RAM Boost, which will keep certain applications in RAM and help you launch them quicker, I've noticed that this is one of the few devices that I can trust to get through the day without a problem, and I still have enough battery life to reach the next day. And for those of you concerned about data speed, since I did notice some differences in OnePlus predecessors, watch our recent 5G video where the unlocked variant is being tested when compared to the Galaxy S10 Plus and the Galaxy S10 5G, and data speeds were stellar on all devices. Right about now, you'd think that this is the perfect phone. I mean, it is a great flagship, but this is not a sequel to the Notebook, it's a review. Let me tell you where I'm mixed about this device. The first is really ergonomics. The OnePlus 7 Pro is a large phone, which I'm sure is fine for some of you. Heck, I always drift to Galaxy Note, so I should be technically okay, but the problem is really the combination of factors. I mean, the phone looks awesome with its curved screen, but there is zero palm rejection, which Galaxy Notes actually get right, and as cool as the navigation gestures are, given the size of the phone, achieving that back gesture at the bottom left is a nightmare. I seriously can't wait for OnePlus to adopt the back gestures that you can find on Android Q. And the second thing is, well, you have a large phone. What is the excuse for there not to be a headphone jack if we're going to use the slogan of never settle? And then last but not least, let's talk about the camera, but not for the reasons you think. I know that we're in the mix section, but it's not to tell you that this camera is bad. This camera is actually really good. See, on the positive front, we have all the versatility that you demand from a flagship smartphone camera. We have a telephoto, a wide angle, and a standard sensor with all the specifications to not make you want more. And then there's the software, where OnePlus has invested a lot in improving their proprietary HDR, and in addition to the basic minimalism of the camera software. The resulting photos are good, I mean very good color saturation and dynamic range, and I really like that the color reproduction is not overdone. On the contrary, it's very subtle and accurate. And the same can be said for low light performance, where features like Nightscape let you capture a lot of detail in tough conditions. Even if you move to portrait photos or selfie portraits, I like how natural the results are from this set of cameras, which makes it easy to edit later in whichever software you like without worrying about clipping detail. Now, obviously, there's a reason why this is in the mix section, and it's because I feel that the software needs a little more maturity in the flexibility of being able to edit these portrait photos after the fact, or being able to take them and use the wide-angle camera as the depth map sensor and not force you to step back from your subject to get the shot. And then there's the topic of video recording, where 4K video is great at 60 frames per second, and we have some really good stabilization, but I find it to be such a missed opportunity that you can't switch between sensors as you record video. And then there's the topic of switching to selfie video, where colors and stabilization are good as well, but the problem is that you're capped at 1080p video, and where close competitors are currently already at 4K with a sensor that has a lot less megapixels. To conclude, notice that there is no things that I don't like about this phone in our review. I mean, surely the OnePlus 7 Pro is not a perfect device, but if you think about it, most of the things that I find myself mixed about are things that are personal taste. You have a great looking design, awesome color options, great software, and all the most powerful specifications money can buy, and a camera that gives its competitors a run for its money. After a month of using this as my daily driver, and at a time when getting the latest and greatest costs you more than $1,000, it's really hard for me to sit here and tell you that any of those more expensive phones is better. They're not. They've got their perks, but the OnePlus 7 Pro is actually the best value flagship money can buy, in my opinion. I'm not even going to call this a flagship killer anymore. I'm actually going to call this a flagship, a device that I feel that other competitors should look up to and how they are able to achieve all this and not make you break the bank. But what about you? Let us know what you think about the OnePlus 7 Pro in the comments down below. And while you're at it, make sure you follow us on social media. Subscribe to both our channels, English and Spanish, for more videos like this one. Our Instagram is also where our extended coverage happens, so make sure you follow us there. And here are my personal handles in case you want to see how these phones perform in the real world. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.